Hello and welcome. I'm going to do a different video here that really relates to everyone because people just don't know that they have heart disease or inflammation or just don't want to hear it. Unfortunately, your body's going to give you these signs and people are ignoring them. And I say unfortunately because if you don't know what these signs are, it's not going to do you a bit of good. I'm going to give you actually a bonus sign. So I'm going to give you the first four. And these are very, very simple signs, but they mean a lot. Number one, if you're a male, if you have a bald spot in the back of your head, and especially here on the sides, that's one indicator something in your body is off. The second thing I want to mention is creases on the earlobes. This is right here, right in between the earlobes. Some people have it differently. Some crease up even more. The more the crease, as far as in depth, and the thickness, the more serious the issues. And if you're under 40, this is definitely a clear indication of definitely heart disease in the body. The third thing I want to mention is under the eyes. If you're getting those bags and they're not going away, that's fluid accumulating in the body. And the medical term for this is spelled edema, edema, I believe is the pronunciation. But you can also get the fluid, if you're a male, under the pectorals. And this is something that it is very serious depending on how much fluid is there. You're already having a problem with one of your sides of your heart being enlarged and it's not getting enough blood to the areas and fluid is accumulating. You can also get it's most commonly in your legs as far as your ankles and your feet. That's the most common area. And the final tip I want to mention is gray hair. Yes, if you're getting a lot of gray hair, the balding, the creases in the earlobes, under the eyes with the fluid building up, and of course under the chest, you now have 5 particular areas you can look at. If you have all of these, you're in for a lot of trouble. If you have just 2 of these, you already are on the verge of a very high risk for having a heart attack. So to correct these, this is a sign that you need to A, start walking and getting moving a lot more. B, which is the most important, you gotta change your diet. If you see the blender behind me with the green, dark green shake, that is a number of green vegetables and important fruits. In this particular shake, there's kale, there's collard greens, there's broccoli, there's a peach, there's an orange. The whole point here is that you need to do this every single day. This is the first step. You gotta start getting the nutrients in the body, and you gotta digest them. That's what the blender does. That's what a blend tech does. This is another reason why the New Age Health Guide is so successful. And I always mention this because everything is done for you. And the whole point here is I'm always going to give you additional tips, but you got to get the whole, piece to every single part of the puzzle. If you don't, then you're going to continue to have these issues. Unfortunately, I'm not about getting rid of symptoms. I like to get rid of the disease itself. Heart disease is the number 1 killer, period. Above cancer. Cancer is number 2, right behind it. These diseases will continue to thrive as inflammation builds in the body and people are, number 1, they're not getting moving. Even if they are, you're still going to get heart disease. It's a silent killer because it's all based on your diet. You can't go and eat junk food and expect to be healthy even if you're running. It doesn't work that way. Running is very good for you, and I mentioned this in a number of videos, especially if you're running in the sun. this is even more amazing for your health and will help to correct these heart issues. But your diet is the most important. Chemicals cause disease. These are what is plaguing everybody, but it's also the foods. If you don't eat the right foods, and those foods being very clean, this is going to cause these problems. This is why heart disease is killing people of all shapes and sizes, of all different financial backgrounds. Some of the wealthiest people out there and most well-known people in acting have died of heart disease. Look at their photos. Look at what they look like before. Look at what they look like when they had these issues, and especially if they had any type of heart surgery, which you get a lot of complications. They could have easily corrected this by following the simple principles of nature. And I say simple because this is what is reality, but people are so brainwashed that they have to be on a pill. Their cholesterol that is high, which has nothing to do with heart disease and is actually not bad for you. I'll explain that in another video, but you can't take a pill for that and expect to go hiking. And these people in their 40s are the ones having the heart attack by taking these cholesterol lowering drugs, because it does nothing. Hope this information helps, because you just very may well have heart disease. Don't ignore these signs. They mean something. Gray hair just by itself isn't going to be that big of a deal if you don't have any of the other symptoms. But if you have another one on top of that, out of the 5, you obviously have a clear sign that you do have heart disease. So you gotta have 2. If you have 3 or more, then you're going to be in some real trouble if you do not correct this. Thank you.